So I'm trying to challenge the status quo with something quantifiable, right? So the wow factor of the video is great, but the video doesn't tell me where I should fit this on my priority list. If you come up with some way of measuring, say like we think with e-commerce, your conversion rate on your website is going to be 12% higher, and you're doing that by looking at your typical abandon rate, what percent abandoned because they didn't feel comfortable just buying online, they didn't show up in the showroom. But if you do all the math and say, okay, we think people are X% more likely to buy with augmented reality, with seeing something in virtual reality online, and let's say that's a 12% increase. Okay, there's an insight there in terms of what you're missing because of people not wanting to buy directly online. And then you customize it to their business. You say, okay, like what is, if you're getting 22% conversion rate on people that put things in shopping carts today, 12% higher on that would be whatever that number is. What's your typical deal size? What's your typical basket size? How much volume do we have? And so you can apply that 12% to their business and say, so now we have a number, right? Now we know that you were doing 5 million in sales online, and we think next year you could be doing 5.7 million online, right? Or whatever the number is. And so at least you've kind of said, okay, like this represents an additional $700,000 in sales.
And what's the pain point you were talking about?
It's the missing sales. I mean, anyone who's doing e-commerce is looking at people that abandon carts, especially when you put something in your shopping cart. You didn't just come to the site and just look around. You put something in the cart, you like it, you kind of want to buy it, but you abandon it. Why? Right? Lack of confidence. I couldn't feel it and touch it. I don't know if it's going to fit. I'm not entirely sure how that's going to look. Like you get something like, oh, that's way too big for this room, right? Well, you can tell if you can. Even going to the showroom, you can't tell that. You go see something in the showroom, you can get out a tape measure and measure the chair, but unless you actually put it in your living room, you don't know if it's going to fit. So what percent of people put things in a shopping cart, especially for something like furniture, and don't buy it because they're not confident it's going to work? That's what I'm trying to get beyond. And I part of the premise of selling this into the furniture industry is that that is a problem that this can solve. So let's start with the problem. And if you have e-commerce folks that are worried about shopping cart abandon rates and wondering how to make that better, you've got a story.